Yeah, we're alright.
Red light of doom.
The red light of doom.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
It's good, man. It's nice to see you.
I know, it's good to see you.
Are you well?
I'm well. How's the mustache?
We're Mo Bros.
Is that what it is?
That's what
Did you not get my Facebook link? Join my.
I don't know. Maybe.
Probably.
I'm sorry. I've got my own team.
I don't care about your team.
You're right.
It's not about my team.
Alright.
Okay, anyway. It's time to be serious. These are our jobs.
Yeah, I know.
It's time to be professional, yeah.
Professionals. Let's be professional.
You've recently played Wembley and you've also opened for the Olympics.
Yes.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. The Wembley thing is is in a way kind of the one, if you like, I want to talk about more because it was planned, you know, and it was kind of
We didn't just turn up on the day.
Well, we didn't quite do that at the Olympics, but the Olympics thing was definitely it was a surreal, like, out of normality experience. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's not really connected to anything else in my life. It's good to do. I generally try and approach life as, like, say yes to everything anyway, because fuck it,
Might as well.
we're all going to die.
Yeah,
You might as well. And I just don't want to. What's the point in being the old man in the pub telling the story about the time that they said no to playing the Olympics? Like, really?
I once could have opened for David Bowie.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, whatever, you know, and but it was, like I say, I was definitely out of my element doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Frightened.
A little, probably, yeah.
That's the first time I've heard you say that.
Yeah, a little.
Usually, like, I don't get scared.
Yeah, but they told us there was 27 million people watching this. It was just like, oh,
I didn't actually see it. I found out afterwards. I was like, I fucking watched it if I would have known.
Yeah. But it was good to see. But like I say, Wembley's something that was much more kind of like part of the continuum of what I've been doing in music, and that I'm much kind of proud of.
Did you meet the Queen or Gary Barlow?
I didn't meet the Queen or Gary Barlow. I met Dizzy Rascal.
Alright.
And I totally like life bombed him essentially. And by which I mean he came into the dressing room and I went over and like, why are you doing? He was like,
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah. Well, he was like, hi. And I was like, let's drink some champagne. And he was like, okay. And then he kind of like drank a glass of champagne and then he sort of made his excuses and he didn't have any idea who I was. But I am quite a big Dizzy fan. So.
It's good to know that even at this point, you know, you're selling out all these venues, but you still get nerdy around certain people.
Absolutely. I mean, I
had one. You're keeping it, keeping it at home.
I actually freaked a guy out at the fest the other day because it was John from a band called I Hate Myself.
Yeah.
Which is a very obscure kind of emo band from the 90s, and I've met him once before, but I still I adore that band, and he always just gets a bit weirded out because I always get my photo taken with him. and
how's it going?
He's like, no one cares about my band, and I'm like, I do. I definitely care about your band. So.
Okay, actually, there's only 3 questions I've got going, and that's just one of them, but one of them's a bigger. Don't worry, one of them's a bigger, so you know. The second one is, are you working on a new album?
Yeah, not right at this exact moment.
No, obviously not.
But we've just...
maybe this could be inspiration for a song.
This is all the album's going to be. It's just going to be an interview with Ian.
It'd be like a dance song, but with me.
Oh, amazing. It'd like to discussions with Ian. No, I've just got back from a month in America when we recorded the album.
Yeah.
It's being mixed and at the moment, and you know, it needs to be mastered. Artwork and all that jazz, so it's not going to be out until next year. And I've recently discovered that, as in today, like we might be doing an EP before the record as well, which is really good because I had way too many songs to the album and I'm getting everything out there. So.
You don't want to let any fall through.
Yeah, and I'm not one for kind of like that whole hold it back for the next record. That's bullshit. You know
Buy the single and get the extra song.
Yeah, you know, so hopefully it'll be just an EP. Now, not unlike, you know, Can't Fuck Like Rock or EPs as well. So.
And this is it. This is the bigger, and I guess you can presume what's coming.
I've got an idea, but
the Guardian article.
Oh yeah, the wonderful Guardian.
That was an interview with me. So
I know.
It's relevant to bring it up. I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of wondering.
It was going to happen.
That was an interesting.
There's actually some points I'd like to bring up about it. I mean, obviously you said at the time that I feel kind of awkward while talking about my political views because of that.
Yeah, well, because I knew that some arsehole would probably run. I found the piece that the Guardian ran extremely insulting, actually.
Oh shit.
Well,
God, awful.
I mean, it wasn't even just about it being out of context, which parts of it were, but not all of it was. But I think my main issue with it was that it was politically incoherent as an article in itself.
Yeah.
the person writing it seemed to me to not really have any understanding of the finer points of political ideology, and to sort of throw around comparing it to sort of David Bowie's ridiculous crass comments about Hitler demonstrates that, I mean, if you think that libertarianism has any connection with anything to do with fascism, then you've got
it's on the different side.
I would almost I would define my politics as being the opposite of whatever fascism is. Do you know what I mean? And
it's the opposite of totalitarianism.
Right. Well, and the word libertarian was coined as an opposite to authoritarianism.
Yeah.
You know, and I just can't be asked to have conversations about politics with people who haven't kind of got that far through the politics 101.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The other thing as well, which I also said in the original interview, is that I'm not a political activist. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not. I think the main thing is I'm not trying to change anybody else's mind about politics. I don't really regard it as something that that I care enough about, or B, that it's really any of my business.
It's one of the things, you have an opinion of it.
Yeah.
The problem is obviously now people hear you.
Yeah.
I think opinion becomes fucking straight away. As soon as you say something, everyone's trying to evaluate it, trying to get to the bottom of it.
I think the other thing as well that initially I was quite depressed by, but in the long run has actually been a little bit reaffirming, was that in everything that I do, in the way that I approach my music, in the way that I try and make myself accessible and just sort of try and be approachable and try and help people out and do just kind of generally be a decent human being. There was when it initially sort of went down, I really felt like wow, I've put all this work into trying to be a nice person, and now everyone's just instantly calling me a cunt, and it's quite depressing. Having said that, over the course of the next few days, I received a flood of really, really fantastically kind email from people just saying,
I commented on it myself on the article.
And just kind of saying, look, saying what I would hope people would say, which is regardless of the kind of finer intellectuals of this, I just try and be a decent human being, and I hope that's how I come across, and it was very, because you wouldn't believe some of the hate mail that I got.
I can imagine. I mean, I've seen it at first, and even in a small kind of punk scene, if you don't conform to a certain ideal, and these people are supposed to be individual, and if you don't conform to a certain ideal, you set aside straight away.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. To me, punk rock was always about individualism. That was the whole fucking point. Do you know what I mean? But, I mean, obviously, some people disagree, but it's the other thing as well is that in a way, I slightly feel like it was something like that was probably going to happen.
It just took a while.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad that it involved me, though.
Well, thank you for being there for me, buddy.
I'm glad I was the bastard who brought up the question.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, it's done and dusted now, and I just kind of, I never wanted to be a political singer anyway, and now I'm definitely publicly not one. So bollocks.
But I mean, Trip Reagan's one of your good friends. He's a pretty left-wing guy.
Yeah.
Tim's playing. I already spoke to Tim about politics. He's very left-wing.
Well, there's Billy Bragg for a start.
Well, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like who I might add would
defended you.
Yeah, which was very, very decent of him to do. And I'm very grateful to him for doing that, because it sort of turned the tide a little bit there, I think. But I mean, I just don't care enough about it, and I just bored of talking about it,
Oh, sorry.
No,
sorry, I brought it up.
Come on.
No, but I guess we should talk about the tour a little bit.
Yes.
And I remember, every time we spoke, I've always said you should get Tim Barry on the tour. You should get Ben Nichols on the tour.
Well,
so Tim's down now.
Tim is down. Well, Lucero in the UK.
I know.
So, which I'm actually kind of pissed off about, because I really want to see them. But
and the Revival tour as well.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a good time for guys with beards and acoustic guitars. Not that I currently have a beard. Tim. I mean, I've wanted to get Tim to for a long time as well, and I'm really happy that it worked out. And Lucero are now in my sights. But now that you know that I am a man who eventually delivers on a promise.
I know,
then
it's taken a few years. But
oh, come on. Cut me a break. But,
I actually told Tim before I said the reason you're on this tour is because of me. he was like, I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah. Nah, Tim's a good guy. I mean, Tim's he's really somebody I look up to, and who I'm very definitely influenced by. So it's good having him.
Well, we've still got a bit of time left anyway, so let's talk
about Jim.
Jim? Oh yeah, of course.
Tim and Jim, which gets confusing.
Jim,
it's really nice actually to have two support acts, one of which is kind of somebody I consider to be my senior and my peer, and somebody who I've been influenced by. And then to have Jim, who's somebody who I think is amazing new talent, who's going to smash it in the future. Do you know what I mean? I think mean, I'm going to sound like a cigar chomping mogul now.
Hey, you see? That's gonna fire, you see?
Yeah, you know, he's really going to do well.
Changing it to Rock Schmo. I
can-
know all about the band, you see?
It's
What's up in a cigar?
Rock Schmo.
Rock Schmo?
There we go, that's the title of my next record.
No, you said you deliver on a promise, so
Oh, God.
you fucked up.
I am. Well, that said, I promised Tree, my tour manager who you met earlier,
Yeah.
that I would call an album, now that's what I call Frank Turner Volume 1.
Oh, it's got a bit.
But, I mean, I'm not going to do that.
Why?
But also, because it's a shit title for an album. But also, I know people who've actually done stuff like that and you get sued by them.
Oh, really?
Their record company,
Bastards.
like within a second.
Jesus.
So, we're not going for that.
So you think Jim's gonna make it big?
I hope so,
Yeah.
but that's not kind of the point for me. Do you know what I mean? The point is that he's made one incredible record, and I think that he's about to make another one. And I think that if there was any justice in the world, which sometimes there is and sometimes there
Yeah,
isn't,
I mean, you're an example of it.
of injustice.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And when the bastards win.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, hopefully he'll be the biggest thing since sliced bread in this country, and one day I'll open for him. But regardless, he's a great talent, and it's great that he exists and does what he does.
Definitely. If we can go back to your new album,
Yes.
can you give a bit more of a description of it, like the sound of it? Because your last one was very, I would say, nationalised. That paints the wrong picture.
Yeah.
It was a very, like an English.
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
a
album.
record
It was
about
very
England, which was
homey kind of.
yeah, which I mean the thing about that was something I felt like I need to get out of my system, you know. So there's not any songs about England on this album. But then at the same time, I definitely want everything I do to sound English per se.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, influence-wise, I mean, I guess I've been listening to a lot of Weezer and a lot of The National lately. But then also, I mean, the thing I said to Rich at the start of the record was I wanted it to not necessarily to sound like in terms of sound quality or individual sounds, but I wanted it to feel like The Last Waltz, the band film, you know, because it's just got that kind of end of the century party kind of vibe. And there's that sort of like reckless abandon and faded grandeur. I don't know how you want to
So
say
it's
it.
going to be a pretty heavy album.
It's
not heavy.
It's not
in
heavy.
terms
It's
of, like,
pretty. It sounds big.
heavy, like emotionally heavy.
It's very raw emotionally, but also musically, it's a big record. Do you know what I mean? It's like we put a lot of instruments on a lot of different songs. Through the kitchen sink.
Fucking like fireworks taking off in the background and stuff.
Funny you should say that.
No.
No. Well, I'm now going to have to explain this, which involves a little bit of a giveaway on the record. You know what I mean?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean by the sound of fireworks when they're in the distance. When
Yeah.
it's on firework night and it's just that really muffled.
Yeah.
I love that sound. It makes me think of bonfire night and it makes me feel kind of cold and wood smoke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I definitely wanted that sound in one song, so we did some sample hunting for that.
We should just tighten up the fucking bass drum to the death.
I guess could have done. There was a moment as well where I wanted to go with a microphone and stand on Brighton Promenade at 5 AM and record the sound of the sea, but I was talked out of that.
That's very Reagan-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, there's that whole kind of like sonic realism thing, but I was convinced that you could get a similar sound in a different way without necessarily having to be in Brighton at 5 AM.
Because who wants to be in Brighton at 5 AM?
Exactly.
So it's a very progressive album by the sounds of it. It's like Frank Turner meets Sigur Rós.
There is one song on the record which is actually the fireworks one, which is called Broken Piano, which is different from a lot of the stuff I've done before. And I've definitely kind of indulged my taste in stuff like Set Fire to Flames, Godspeed, Sigur Rós, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't know he was a fan.
I have Godspeed tattooed.
Oh really?
I saw.
Show it to the camera. Or is it in a...
I'd have to undress,
Well, we wouldn't
which
want
we'll
that.
save for the
You'd
next
lose like 2,000 fans straight away.
Wow, Zing, look at you.
I know, man, I've been working out.
A bit harsh.
I'm sorry.
You're right then.
But yeah,
Cool, man. Well, look, listen, very nice to speak to you as always.
it's a pleasure.
And I'll see you downstairs in a bit.
Definitely will.
Cool, man.